You're listening to Online Pet Health Podcasts with Dr. Megan Kelly. Continuing education for veterinarian rehabilitation therapists. Learn more at onlinepethealth.com.
Hey Vetrehabbers, woohoo! It's my 200th podcast today. I'm so excited. A huge thank you to all of you, my listeners, for your support and for listening to me every single week. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you to each and every one of you that takes the time to message me, to post Instagram stories and post about the podcast. When you do this, guys, it really, really makes my day. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. Now, if this is the first time you're joining me, thank you. Please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every Wednesday when I release my podcast. Now, over the last few weeks, we have been doing some training on pricing, and I created a PDF download for all of you. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Setting and Increasing Your Prices. Online Pet Health members, you can find this in the members portal in the Business Basics area. If you're not a member, you can download it at onlinepethealth.com/pricing. Now, we've had the same pricing for the last 5 years since we launched Online Pet Health in 2017. So this has been a long time coming. So with all this chat about prices, I realized I need to do the same thing. So on the 1st of June, we will be increasing our prices for the Online Pet Health membership. So what does this mean? For our current Online Pet Health members, nothing changes for you. You guys will be charged the same amount that you signed up for as long as you are a member. If you're not a member but have been thinking about joining, now is the time. If you sign up before the 1st of June, you can save yourself up to 25% a month. So this week, I'm speaking to Nicola Kinnard from NKC Equestrian. She speaks to me about attracting new clients and retaining the current ones. Nicola lectures for us regularly in the Online Pet Health membership in our business area, and this is an area where we give tips and advice on training on how to run a successful vet rehab practice. So over to Nicola for our 200th podcast. Hey Vetrehabbers, thanks so much for joining us. Hey Nicola, thanks for coming on again. It's great to have you.
Lovely to be back. Thank you for having me again.
Today we are going to be talking about a topic that's really important, because without this you can't have a practice, and it's about attracting new clients. And I think we're going to dab a little bit on retaining the ones that we have, but our main thing is, how do we attract clients? And a lot of you will know that it's really difficult to get out there on social media. We're not really sure who's actually seeing the posts. So Nicola is going to help us with all of this. Nicola, thank you so much for joining me. Do you want to quickly tell the listeners a bit about yourself and what you do before we start with all the learning and training you're going to be giving us?
Yeah, sure. Well, Meg, thank you so much for having me back here live with you and on the podcast. So thanks for having me. So I'm Nicola Kinnard Comedy. I own and run NKC Equestrian Training, and I'm a business and mindset coach for equine practitioners. And yes, I can help people who also look after small animals as well. So I think I can cover bases for everybody here today. So my job is to help people grow their businesses. And I have scaled my own business from a course that I set up on my phone as a live event almost 5 years ago into two thriving businesses. And that's now what I love helping other people to do, because we need that mix of strategy, but also the belief that it's going to work. That really is the ultimate combination to business success. And I just love helping people. I feel like I've been on such a journey. I've definitely done the highs, the lows, round the houses, got the t-shirt, and now it's a pleasure to help other people, because I remember what it's like when you're stuck and you're just like pulling your hair out. Where are those next clients coming from? So it's a great topic to talk about. As you said, Meg, no clients, you don't really have a business. You are effectively a busy charity if you don't have any clients. You know, it's a hobby with a website. So yeah, it's a really, really important one to be talking about today.
So, I mean, what are the major challenges about attracting clients? I mean, you know, how do we reach those clients? I think that's the question that we have. Like, you know, a lot of us will sit with like just that hope marketing, where you just sit and hope that they're going to phone or call, but we need to be doing things. So what are the challenges that we're facing?
Definitely. Yeah, we do need to go beyond just hoping for the best. And I see this all the time. I see people, they're like, well, I set up a Facebook page. Where are the clients? Why haven't they come? Or, oh, I share into like the groups in my area. Why haven't I like flooded with bookings? So it's a big topic. There's a couple of things, standout things I see where I just think, oh, a few tweaks and this would be gold dust. too generalized in your marketing. So if you don't know who you're really for as a practitioner, if you don't know exactly who your perfect clients are, it's really hard to speak to them. Now, we've talked about this before, Meg, about how quite often people don't really want to kind of niche down and specialize. And sometimes you're just like, well, I'm not quite sure because I just get the clients that I get. And it can feel like a bold, scary, terrifying even step to say, actually, I want to really go after this portion of the market, because it kind of goes against our common sense, doesn't it? Because commonsensically, we think, well, surely if I just appeal to everybody, that's going to be the best thing for business. But actually, when it comes down to it, we all want a specialist. You know, if you take other aspects of your life, so I love fitness, I love working out. If I was looking to work with a personal trainer, for example, I don't want somebody who's like, yeah, I help, guys get big and beefy, and I help, I don't know, teenagers win triathlons. I'd be like, no, I want somebody that helps tired mummies feel a bit more energized and feel a bit trimmer and fitter. I want somebody that specializes in just that niche. Women of a particular age who've had kids. That would be the niche that I would want a personal trainer in. And it's just the same for everybody's listening for their own businesses. If you're just trying to target anybody with a horse, anybody with a dog, or any other kind of animal, it's just too broad, because as the client, it's all about us. It's all about them, the client. And you want to feel like the practitioner's marketing messaging is speaking to us and answering our problems and our concerns. So too generalized marketing, and I get all the reasons that it feels scary, but I feel like that is a real hurdle. Not knowing who you want, and something I love teaching people to do, and I'd love to share this with you guys today, is as well as knowing who you want, I think you should also know who you don't want. And people are like, oh, turn people away. And it's not so much saying you've got to turn people away. It's like, who are those dream clients? Because I bet everyone listening and watching, you can think, oh, yes, if I only had, I don't know, 5 more Debbies or Beckys in my business. Everyone's got that just amazing client. If you think, oh, if I could just have more of them, life would be sorted. Brilliant. So those are probably your ideal clients. But what about the ones that are just a bit tricky? They're just maybe a bit more demanding. Maybe they don't pay on time. Maybe they're just an energetic drain. We've all encountered those. And I really believe when you decide who you don't want, it makes it so much stronger to kind of be like a magnet and pull towards you who you actually do want. So those are my first big point I wanted to get across. Know who you want and be bold enough to know who you don't want. When I used to solely run courses, I had an article I published on my website, and I turned it into some social content as well, which was like who my horse first aid course is for and who it is not for. And I remember publishing this thinking, oh, can I say this? And it said things like, I used to run these courses together with vets. It said, this is not for you if you think that 30 years of experience outweighs more modern thinking on wound management or something. This is not for you if you think that passing your Pony Club B test, 40 years ago solves all of your kind of horse problems today, and so forth. And actually, it was really empowering. So yeah, I'd love people to have a real dig into that. Who do you want and who do you not want? That would be my first one to think about.
Yeah, that niche thing is so tricky because, like you say, it's so nerve-wracking to say, like, this is who I want. But it doesn't mean that you can't have any of the other people too. It just means that your marketing message is that. So you're only reaching 2 to 5% on Facebook, right? That's your reach. So if you're posting and you're actually reaching the people that you are trying to reach there, those are some people that you're going to get for clients, but doesn't mean that if somebody phones you and they've got a dog with or horse with another problem or something else that you don't have to say no, because that's the only client that you're treating. And I think that's one of the mistakes that we make. So you might be saying, like, old arthritic dogs, for example, though that's my niche. Those are the people that I want. Is that I want a family that has got a Labrador or a dog that is greater than 8 years old. It's a senior. And then a dog comes in that's got hip dysplasia. You can still see that dog. It just means that you're marketing to the arthritic people that have arthritic dogs, right?
Yeah, totally. You don't have to turn anybody away for sure, but it makes your marketing so much easier. Now, people say to me all the time, oh, I just don't know what to say, or I find social media really tricky. Like, what should I say? When you know who you're talking to, it's easy to know what to say. You know, if I was trying to talk to any kind of equestrian business owner, that would be just impossible, because that ranges from, you know, professional riders, tack shop owners, feed companies, people that do maintenance and fencing, as well as therapists and practitioners. It would just be impossible. So it means you can have a conversation in your marketing, and it means that you can really drill in to what is affecting those people. And like I said, you need to be presenting yourself as a solution. But how can you be the solution if you don't know who you're talking to? So yeah, it's so important. Know who you want to talk to, and yeah, don't be scared, because it does make your life a lot easier, and it doesn't mean you have to turn people away. And it also then really helps you know where these people are, because that's the next big question. I bet everyone's wondering, okay, well, this all sounds great, but where are these magic people? When you know who they are, it's so much easier to work out where they are once you know who they are. So working with vets is something that I'm really passionate about all my clients doing. It's such a great way to build a business, and it's something that all you guys are doing all the time. But I still see so many people having reservations about doing this. There's vets and there's vets, isn't there? Like, if you are, like you've just given an example, Meg, of arthritic dogs, the vet that's seeing arthritic dogs may be a very different vet who is seeing younger dogs or more active dogs. And again, in the horse world, the vet that sees the retired family pony or the happy hacker, as we commonly term them, that, you know, don't do quite as much work, is a different person to the vet that is treating lameness workups, that's doing operations, that's, you know, managing all the rehab side. And we need to know who we want to work with in terms of vets and other professionals, because that is such a great way to gain new clients. Building that professional network, building those relationships with others who have access to your perfect dream clients, because someone's already organized all those potential clients and you just need to get in front of them.
Thanks, Nicola. We got somebody who's shared their niche, and they says, my niche is treating equine tendon injuries or severe injuries that require long-term intensive rehab. So that's a really, really great niche, and really
that's
niche
a great niche. Yeah, definitely. And sadly, the horse world, that would be quite a few horses that require intensive long-term rehab for sure. Yeah, no, that's a great niche.
So what are your top tips for attracting these new clients?
So once we know who these clients are, building your client base from other people's audiences, I think, can be really, really powerful. We talked about working with vets, other professionals. You know, I'm a trained riding instructor. I spent 15 plus years teaching people to ride horses. I was always being asked for recommendations, whether it would be for a farrier, a saddler, or a therapist. How nice to be able to say, oh yes, this is who I recommend. It's really nice to be able to buddy up and work with other professionals in your area. And I think that's a really easy source of new clients and continual new clients as well. So I'd really encourage people, once they've decided who their tribe of clients are, is to think, okay, who has them and how can we build a relationship? And I think it's a little bit like making friends as a grown-up. Like, takes a bit of time, or sometimes use the analogy of working with vets, it's like dating. You know, you can't just expect one phone call and then you're married, i.e. referrals coming to you. It's going to take a little bit more time. There's going to be a few more layers and a few more steps. But I really, really encourage people to start the ball rolling. Get on the phone, pop people a message on social media, find out how people like to communicate. We don't all like email. Sometimes it's quite nice to have a chat on the phone, particularly if you're somebody like a vet or a freelance trainer or something where you're driving, or a farrier. So why don't pick up the phone, start this process, because it's such a great way to build a kind of little team around you, have other people to work with, but also have that steady stream of clients coming in. So other people's audiences, I think, is really, really valuable. And I would also encourage people to think how they could work with bigger companies, because when you're a little fish, so to speak, you can feel like, oh, well, why would these kind of big sharks want to work with me? But actually, I found that some big companies, if you've got some really good content and you know who you're talking to and your content's really good, they can be really happy to share your content and they have a much bigger audience. That doesn't always result in instant bookings, no, but it can be just a really good way to just start that snowball effect. Because I'm sure, Meg, you found the same with your own business. Once you get that momentum, once you start rolling the snowball, it really does gather speed and things do start happening. So if you like, for example, if you like writing and you're really passionate about your subject area, why not? Could you write some articles for another company who could have them on their website and linking back to yours, or some social media content that you've used that's worked? Could it be tweaked and used by a bigger player, a bigger company, maybe a feed company or insurance company or a treat manufacturer? There's so many other people, other companies, other brands that have a much bigger reach than us sort of smaller entrepreneurs do. And why not? They can only say no, but I find most people don't even want to ask. So other people's audiences, so beneficial. It really is. My next tip has got to come to mindset. Like, have we got this far, Megan? I haven't even talked mindset. Believing that the clients are there is something I see people struggling with quite often. Do you hear that as well?
Yeah, I think that they know that they're there, but I think that maybe believing that they want to see me, as a practitioner, there's all these other people that they'd rather see.
Yeah, this is what I hear all the time. Oh, but there's all these other people in my area. And when you drill into it, it often comes down to, why would anybody want just little old me? They could have so. And I hear it all. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too this. I'm too that. I'm too newly qualified. I've been going too long. There's every kind of reason. But actually, what I would really encourage everyone to do is think of actually, why do people want to work with you? Like, what makes you you? I believe that we all have our own kind of superpowers, and this is not necessarily where you got your qualifications, or it could be the fact that, I don't know, you've done a triathlon, or you've overcome injury, adversity, some kind of disaster. We've all had something, haven't we? And I think those kind of things actually make us stronger and make us really unique as businesses. And I think when you go through what makes me me, people will be surprised. They may find this difficult to start with, but people will be surprised that they have way more going for them than they think. And I think this is a really helpful way to start building this belief that, yes, people do want you. So superpowers, and also a success list. What are you really proud of? What have you already accomplished in your work and in your business, in your life? Again, it just helps really reinforce that, yes, actually, I have already got some great results. Just reminding yourself of, I'm sure everybody listening has got that case where everybody else had kind of given up, or they never thought it was quite come together, but they were the one, the kind of final piece of the puzzle that pulled it all together and had a really great outcome. So why not remind yourself of that fantastic outcome where, you had a part to play, and now that animal is having such a great life as a result of your hard work and your interventions. So reflecting on your successes, your triumphs, is something I think we are dreadful at doing, and something I'd really encourage people to do more of, because it will just help reinforce consciously and subconsciously that, yes, people do want to work with you. And I would really encourage everybody listening to start thinking how they can build that resilience, because you hear no in business. It's a fact. We all hear no. You have to just get that kind of bulletproof mindset that the no's just don't really knock you, so to speak. And that's one, 2 ways I think people could really start building that for themselves.
I also think that if you're aligned with who your clients are, usually the no's are usually the people that are not meant to be working with you, right?
Yes.
And the yeses are the right clients. So when you get into that cycle of just, when somebody says no, sort of just saying, okay, well, there's a reason for this, and I'm probably better off them not. There's a reason. There's definitely a reason.
Oh, I so agree. I love the expression rejection is protection. And yeah, I really think there's something in that. You can feel
But it's
crushed
hard.
at the time. And then
Yeah.
you can, a few months later, maybe they went to work for somebody else or with somebody else. And you can, sometimes you hear that there was a reason that actually it was a saving grace that you didn't get them as a client.
And when it happens, when you get rejected for whatever reason, you take it personally, and then you'll start to second judge yourself. You start to think, oh, well, maybe like nobody else is going to come and see me. And, if I think about myself, when I've had like a quiet week and there was no bookings, and then I was like, oh, maybe it was fluke. The last few months have been fluke that I've had clients. Maybe this is how it's going to be, and you start to all these negative thoughts just start to roll, and then your mindset just spirals out of control. You need to be aware of that and to stop it and say, actually, no, it's okay, and use that time when it's quiet to market and do all the things that you can to grow your clients. I loved
that time could be a real saving grace for sure.
Yeah, we often don't have time because our consults are so long. But I loved your suggestion about the networking. And I'm a firm believer in networking and using the people in your area. So for a equine person, you were saying like farriers and dentists, and it might be riding instructors, or there's so many different types of people. And getting to know them. And once you build a relationship with them, it's a reciprocal type of relationship where you will refer to them. So when you have a client that needs a farrier or needs a new farrier or needs a behavioralist or whatever it is, then you'll say, oh, I know someone, and you recommend them, and then they do the same for you. And then you have this really tight network where you actually work together, and that's even better. And when you have a case and you're all working together on it, you're working as that multidisciplinary team, which is really, really great.
Yeah, that's such a great feeling for sure. It really, really is. No, totally agree. So yeah, I think using your network and telling like your own personal network, as well as just reaching out to new professionals, just even on your own like personal social media, does it say what you actually do? Because I find so often if you land on someone's business page, yes, of course, it's obvious. You land on someone's personal page, it can have nothing to do with their business. And I'm not saying you should 100% be using your personal profile to market your business, but just could you not have just something that just says, this is what I do and this is a link to my website? It could just take up this much space. But I think it's a trick that so many people miss. And quite often if I ask people why they haven't done that, sometimes they just didn't cross their mind. But sometimes they just like, oh, I just feel a bit awkward, or oh, I don't know what the other people at my old yard or the other people I went to school with or whoever will think. And I find that really, really interesting. So yeah, just making sure that everybody knows what you do. It sounds super obvious, but it's amazing how many people don't do that.
A good tip is to, if you're posting things on your personal profile, and let's say you're doing it in your day-to-day, maybe you're at stables or you're treating a patient, or is actually to check in at your work. Yeah. So, when you put in and then you check in, then it says Megan Kelly at Onlinepethealth. And then often people will go, oh, what's that? And then they click on your business profile and then they start following you. Say, oh, I'm interested in that. So
yeah, definitely. Because quite often we are almost our own ideal clients. And I was saying, if you're a horsey person or a dog person, you'll know other people with horses and dogs. And no, not necessarily every single one of your friends and family has got to become a client, but they will know people. And they will probably quite often also be in your local area as well. So yeah, I think don't just discard your own or disregard your own personal network. Like the one that's right in front of your face is the one that people often forget. So yeah, think just who do you actually already know, because they could well be your next clients or know your next clients for sure.
So we chatted a bit now about attracting new clients. Can we just touch a little bit on how do we keep the current clients that we have? Because that's just as important. Sometimes we spend so much time attracting new clients, we forget about our current clients.
Yes, I so agree. So my first thought on this is all about energy and intention. How many practitioners go to an appointment or a consult thinking, oh, I hope they rebook, or I wonder if they will. Or at the end, go, okay, great. Perhaps if you're leaving the yard or something, okay, well, just call me if you think he needs me again. Bye. They're not expecting to be rebooked. So that's my first point I'd love to challenge everybody on is, do you actually want the person you're seeing in your next appointment to be a regular client? If they're not already, are you actually expecting that of them? Because it's not, you're the expert, guys. It's not up to the owner to decide when their animal should be seen. Because I think so often therapists can come across really busy, and many therapists are very, very busy. But to an owner, we can think that they are too busy. Like we're bothering them, like it's a kind of, oh, well, okay, I'll just sort of leave it until my horse seems really uncomfortable and then get them back. I really feel it's up to the therapist to be like the farrier. So using an analogy from the horse world, the farrier has to come back. There's no room for debate. They're going to be coming back, let's say between 5 and 8 weeks, they will be back. So at the end of an appointment, they've got their diary. They're like, okay, I can do here or I can do here. And you go, oh, brilliant. Let's go with this date. Done. Why not do the same? Because no one's debating the farrier coming back. So why not, take that impetus and just think, okay, I want to see this patient again in 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever it is. But take the initiative, be the one that says, okay, this is what I've got, this or this, and then get it booked in, because you're making it harder for the owner. Like if I was the owner, you're making that harder for me. If I've then got to call you, then go through, I can do this Tuesday or that Tuesday. It's so much easier to stand there in person, both with your respective diaries, and just get it booked in. So energy intention, I think, is absolutely critical. Expect people to want you back, and explain to them why you need to be coming back, and explain that you have capacity and space and you want them to be a regular client if they aren't already. Because again, I think sometimes when we're rushing and we're busy, it can feel like we're too busy for somebody. So I think that's really, really important. Have a follow-up system of some description. Now, this could range from simply a notebook like I've got here in front of me with just names of clients that you've seen in the last month, last quarter, that you need to just get hold of and to rebook in. Or it could be some super fancy automated email system. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's just you and a scrap piece of paper ticking off who you've called or who you've texted or whatever. But you need some kind of system in your business where people don't just kind of slip through the net. Because I think that's what happens with so many therapists. It's like you're doing more work than you need to. If all your focus is on getting new people, that's much harder work than just looking after all of your clients, because every new person should really become a permanent client. Yes, there's always the odd exception of somebody moves house or any other circumstances, but the vast majority of new clients that come into your business ecosystem should be staying there. And if they're not, then this is the time to think, okay, what happened? Did I forget to call them? How did they kind of slip through the cracks and through the gaps? So following up, energy, intention, I think are so, so important. I really do.
Yeah, I love that. If I think about it now, I was always like that. But I think that that's normal in veterinary. So in veterinary, we say we need a follow up in 10 days or 2 weeks to see if the ear infection sorted out. And then there were times when we didn't need one. And then we would say, if it doesn't improve, then come back. But most things we would need a follow up with. So yeah, but I think about other people, even in sort of the human healthcare industry that I've dealt with, massage therapists and people like that, where I've seen them and then they just say, okay, bye. And then I'm the one who has to then schedule the next appointment. It's like, and they don't say like, I really think that you need to be seen like every 2 weeks, or at least now for the next 4 weeks, once a week, or it's always me, the one. So I hear you about that. And I think that is something that maybe therapists are doing. They're not actually being forthcoming with actually giving the protocol and saying, this is what I suggest. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the owner has to do it. You can just say, I recommend that I see does that work for you? Like, what day can I come see next week? Or is that not going to work for you? You can have a conversation about it,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. Don't put it back on the owner, because I think some owners probably think that having their animals seen annually even makes them owner of the year. They just didn't realize that actually could be probably more beneficial to have a few more sessions in the next 12 months. But that is the job of the therapist, as you said, is to educate, to inform, and to inspire owners. Because if they've booked you once, that was for a reason. Like, they obviously want help. Why not go back and see them? So I think that's really, really important. And I think it does come down to mindset again. It's like believing that your results do speak for themselves, like believing there's value in your sessions, believing that what you do makes a real difference. If you go into a treatment feeling like that, that's going to have the conversation at the end is going to be really easy, compared to thinking, lots of other people, or hope they stay with me, or what if they don't rebook me? Will they use somebody else? Because that's probably what's going to happen. So just that checking in and controlling thoughts. And like you said, Meg, just, being able to pause thoughts, cancel thoughts, that pattern interrupter can be so powerful. It really can.
You and I have dived quite a lot into the mindset thing, and we've spoken also about money mindset.
Yeah.
Does money mindset affect like how you attract new clients?
Oh, totally. Yes, 100%. So money mindset is such a great topic to talk about, particularly coming from the horse world, where one of the first things people say to you, if you say you've got any interest in working with horses, can't make money with horses. Like, we have so many deep-rooted negative beliefs around money. And maybe it's for you, maybe it's running your own business, maybe it's being self-employed. We all have them. So yeah, definitely. Like, if you have reservations about your pricing, if you don't quite believe in the value of what you do, if you have got some kind of belief system around running your own business a bit risky, or it's not very safe, or like I just mentioned, you can't make money with horses, that is really going to affect how you can or can't attract clients, for sure. And the other thing I really wanted to mention is, this is a question for everyone to ask themselves, and I will repeat it twice. Do you want what you say you want? Because this is something I see all the time, where people are like, I want 100 new clients. And you're like, okay, great. But the second sentence that comes out of them is, I'm so tired. I'm so this, I'm so that. I've got so many other things to do. Like, do we actually want what we say we want? And I would really encourage people to sit and reflect on this. And, driving is a great time to think, obviously, whilst driving safely, or sit down, at the end of the day with a piece of paper and get all these thoughts out of your head. But so often we're telling ourselves one thing, but we're feeling something else, and it's all got to add up. So like, if you're thinking, really need 10 new clients would be amazing, but then you're saying to friends, family, well, 10 would be great, but I'll be happy just one new client, like anything would be great. Like, that doubt's already in there, and you're feeling, I don't know, a bit anxious, maybe a bit excited, maybe a bit doubtful. And then if you think, okay, you've got all those three things, what action do you take? None, maybe it's a bit mixed. 1 week it's something, 1 week it's not. All those 4 points have really got to be in alignment. So I would really encourage people to just check that what they think they want is what they want, and does the number of clients that they currently would love to have actually work for their life. Because if they're going, well, yeah, I want new clients, but I've got to get on the school pickup, I've got to ride 5 horses a day, I've got to walk 3 dogs. Do they have space for clients? And something that's really powerful but super simple is to, okay, if you want 10 new clients, block them into your diary like they are current clients. Does it actually work? And when you can sort of sense check that, it's like, you're either going to go, oh goodness, no, I need to do X, Y, and Z. I need someone else to pick up on a Thursday. I need to put the horse on part livery, or whatever it is. I need a dog walker. You'll see if you've got space for those clients. And when you can see you have got the space, I think mentally it just really helps us go, okay, I can do it. And then it's so much easier to take action. So yeah, checking that what you think you want is what you want is really, really powerful, because I see so many people just going kind of loggerheads mentally and then being really frustrated because either they're not getting the clients, or the clients don't stick around, or they're not really the right clients. Because we're probably also telling ourselves that, oh yeah, but busy, tired, exhausted, all the rest of it. So I would love everybody to explore that idea.
So I know you do a whole lot of challenges, and you've got one coming up now about money mindset, and like all this ties together. So like you guys got to sort your mindset out first to get your heads right about all of that before you can actually start attracting the clients that you want. So tell us a bit about your challenge. And for those that are interested, I'm going to post the link in the description of the podcast.
Yes, amazing. So yes, I have run a money mindset challenge previously, which was fantastic, in January. And what we've got coming up next is an online retreat, which is for 5 days, starting on May the 16th. I've called it Business School for Equine Practitioners, but you don't have to just be horsey. Everybody is welcome. I will be presenting new ways to look at sales, marketing, and of course, mindset, and just giving some new teaching and learning about how you can just make life easier. Because I believe business does not have to be a hard slog. I believe that when you get your head in the right place and believe it can be easier, that it really can. Like I've already said, someone's already organized these perfect clients for you. Like, it doesn't have to be hustle and grind 24/7. You can have a business that doesn't burn you out, for example. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing. A week of inspiration, lots of information, lots of learning. Every day it's 1 o'clock live UK time. So we're on summertime, which is GMT plus 1 hour. It will be recorded and available for a limited time. Best thing is to just get yourself signed up if you'd like to join us. And then you'll get all the details over. But yeah, 5 days of teaching. It's really, really informative. And I just see people, when I run these events, shift and change and take action. And I love it. So yes, thanks, Meg, for inviting everybody. That would be fantastic.
Awesome. Nicola, thank you so much. It's been so great chatting to you. Thank you for always sharing your knowledge, and I always learn so much. And there's always like these little jewels that I get from you, and then I'm like, yes. And I keep thinking to myself, I must remember when I'm mentoring the Vetrehabbers to share that with them. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Meg. Lovely to see you again. Bye, everybody.
Cheers, everyone. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. And please, if you get a moment, head over to Stitcher or iTunes and leave me a review. It's a really lonely job being a podcaster, and so the only time I get to hear from you or know that you're out there is when I get a review. And know that I read every single one of your reviews. So to those of you that have left reviews, I want to say a very, very big thank you. Every time we get a review, it really helps to get the veterinary rehabilitation podcast out there to all the Vetrehabbers all over the world. All right, Vetrehabbers, so if you are looking for more continuing education in the field of veterinary rehabilitation, head over to onlinepethealth.com. Go be awesome, guys.